How am you bastards? It's Brummie Dave. Yeah, I'm back again. Third time in 3 bloody weeks. I think Andy's used me to have a bit of a rest now. So he has a bloody lie in, just rings me up, said, Dave, can you do this one? And he rang me up and said, do you want to do the best Black Sabbath track off every Black Sabbath album? I said, I ain't bloody doing that. Not all of them. I ain't going to be going through all the bloody Ronnie James Dio and all that lot of stuff. All of them are going to do the Aussie ones. They're the only ones I already listen to. And I said, all right then. He said, do the Aussie ones. That's up to you, mate, if you want to do that. So I'm down here. I'll go for it for you if you want to know what I think. Of course, I've loved Black Sabbath, Man and Boy. You know, got the first album when it came out in 1969. I was a nipper back then. I was only 18 years old. You know, now I'm at the grand age of, because a lot of people been asking, saying, how old are you, mate? And I've been saying, well, I'm in my bloody 70s now. You know, it's like looking at the end, really. There's not going to be much left, is there, really? You know, not of my life. I'm in the last dregs of existence, I suppose. It's been getting me down a bit, really, because I feel bloody young in myself, you know, feel pretty young, but yeah, it's all bloody depressing. And now Ozzy Osbourne's passed on, hasn't he? That was a bloody shame. But I suppose we could all reminisce, can't we, of happier times back in the 1970s when we were all bloody young. And my favourite band was Black Sabbath. They were bloody heavy and they were from Birmingham. And I only really like bands from Birmingham. There's a few bands I quite liked, but I like Brummie bands because they're bloody down to earth. They don't get into all that bloody pretentious rubbish like bloody Velvet Underground and all them, the Smiths and the Cure. You know, all them Saft Moody bands. Bloody hell, they get right on my wick. They do. The Saft Moody bands, yeah. Anyway, so I was going to do this, but a couple of things I want to say before we get going, because I've been looking at the comments, and people keep saying I look like bloody Zodiac Mind Warp. Zodiac, how do I look like Zodiac Mind Warp? I couldn't bloody believe it. That bloody indie bloke for the 1980s, that even proper rock. He's a bloody pretender. If they said I look like Lemmy, that'd be fair enough. You know, but no, it's not bloody right. So I thought, I'm going to get myself a new hat. Now, my wife has never said I look like Zodiac Mind Warp. She's always said I look like Tony Curtis. And I was known, they used to call me Tony Curtis back in the 1960s. My favourite film by him is the one when he's bloody in the racing car. What's that one called? It's either called The Great Race or Monte Carlo or Bust. I can't remember which one it was. But whichever one's got bloody Tony Curtis in, that's my favourite Tony Curtis film. And he had an act like this, didn't he? And I thought, I'll get rid of the old Zodiac hats, because they keep saying it's like Zodiac Mind Warp, but I didn't like that, you see. So I've got rid of that, slung that hat, and I've got this bloody Tony Curtis hat. So now you lot could say I sound like, or I look like Tony Curtis, so that won't get on my nerves so much now, you know, being like compared to Tony, because I like Tony Curtis. He was cool, he was, yeah. He's had some chat, but he was also a bit of a rebel, wasn't he? Wasn't he, old Tony? Yeah, I do like a good Tony Curtis film. But like I say, I think it's Monte Carlo or Bust, my favourite one. Now, the other thing where I've been getting the right bloody Mickey taken out of me by my mates down the old pub, I've been going down there and they're saying, seeing Dave, all famous on the internet, you know, talking about stuff like he knows about things and talking in his poshish accent. And I am putting on my posh accent here. I'm not talking like in my full out Birmingham accent. I'm talking the Queen's English here, because all the American chaps, they ain't gonna really understand me if I'm talking in my proper. I thought I'll have a go at this one in the actual proper voice for you and see how we get on. Is that all right? Is that all right? Shall we do that then? Okay then, all right. So we bloody dance on it. What we go down the music? Look, we don't call believe it. It's called it. Black Tabby. We go in. We come in. Kill me back at me. I can't believe it. And he was saying, "I put a pocket. You having a pocket?" And he was going, "I don't put it in. We don't do 69. What is it? Get out and get walking. And we don't get walking. I call it. You come to me. I can't believe it. And then what's he going to bloody do now? I don't know. I said, "You ain't going to bloody do that to me, man." I said, "What do you want to go, man? You off your bloody head? You haven't had the mushy piece. I said, "You ain't going to be bloody doing anything, Andy Gray. No way, no way. Oh bloody hell, Kevin." And then what I was 60. So I went down. I went to get. And he was all buckle, bloody, yes, all the lips, I'm on bloody hard, he bricks, bloody bricks, I can't believe it. What do you, where's that? Where's it? What's going on? I can hear bloody something right over there. I can't bloody believe it. Watch yourself, bloody hell. Bloody hell, that didn't go well. I think I bust something at Andy's. Bloody hell, the phone's still ringing. Right, bloody hell, is it going well, is it? Hello? Yeah, is that Andy, is it? Yeah. No, well, I have broken something. It's a big round thing. It's like cracked. It's a big round thing. It's a big shiny round thing. Yeah, the things you have on your drums. Yeah, one of them cymbals. Yeah, one of them, yeah. How much is one of those? I'll sort you out for one of those, mate. Bloody hell! God, is that how much sales up in the metal? Like a bloody dustbin lid? Oh, sorry, mate. I mean, I don't think I've got that. Why that haven't got bloody... It wouldn't have happened if you hadn't rung up. No, I'm bloody doing it, right? I was right in the bloody flow because I wasn't talking in my posh voice, so I went into full-on Brummie, and, I was able to talk so much bloody faster, I was getting so much bloody stuff in there. Yeah. What do you mean? Well, no one could understand that. Oh, that's a bloody problem then, isn't it? Okay, mate. But it's your fault. You shouldn't have called me up. All right, shall we just call it quits? I'll talk in a posh voice. You don't call me up. All right, Andy, I'll get on with it. Bloody hell. I broke his bloody cymbal. Did you hear it? It was clattering. Reckon a right bloody noise that was. Right, what have we got here then? So, first on the list is... the album Bloody Black Sabbath came out in 1969. There's some good songs on that. I like Nib. You know that one? Nib. I really like Nib. There's some good songs on there, but I think it has to go to the title track, Black Sabbath, doesn't it? Because that's the best one on there, isn't it? Because it's got that big... The thing with Black Sabbath is, I like it when they do a bit of an epic, you know what I'm saying? When they have like multiple parts to the tracks, and so you listen to one bit and you're thinking, I like this, but it's a bit slow. I wish they do a fast bit now. And you think, well, there's no way they can bloody do a fast bit. But then suddenly they just change out of nowhere. They do the bloody fast bit. That's what Black Sabbath's like. Because it starts off like this, right? It starts off, right? You put the record on, and there's all these bloody scary... God, bloody hell, I've lost my glasses now. That's going to cock up this bloody video, innit? Sorry about this, people. Get that phone out of the way. Bloody hell, I'm all fingers and thumbs here. I can't find it. Oh, there they are. I really should get some of them... I really should get some of those reactor lights. You know, the old reactor light glasses. But they don't do aviators with the bloody mirror lens in the reactor light, so I have to carry around me other bloody glasses or to read anything. Anyway, so it starts off. It's all bloody raining. Like that in Birmingham it was back then. Always bloody raining. You can hear it. Right, there's bloody frightening stuff going off all around. And then suddenly it crashes in. The heaviest bloody thing you've ever heard in your life. Bang, 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 blue, blue, blue. Bill Ward and his bloody drums. Blue, 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 blue. Bang, 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 blue, 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 blue. It's bloody frightening. I'm sat there. I can remember as a kid. I was only bloody... How old was I then? I was about 18. I can remember putting it on the house. I got right bloody scared. You know, I had to bloody locked the bloody door of the bloody bedroom because he was frightening me. I thought there'd be like some bloody demon who'd come up and get me. A bloody demon. I didn't like it. You know, it was bloody frightening. Then it all comes down, doesn't it? And then OZZY comes in. He goes, what is this that stands before me? I thought, I don't know, Oz, I'm not there. You're the one there. You tell us. You've got the bloody microphone. You're making the song. There's no point asking us straight off what it is. And then he starts to go on about seeing a demon. Now, this really bloody did happen. It happened to Geezer Butler. Now, Geezer Butler, he is, and people don't know this because I know Geezer. He doesn't want to bloody talk to me anymore. Old Geezer does, but he was the one that probably knew the best of all the old Sabbath blokes back in Birmingham. They're all a bit nutty. Geezer wasn't. He was like a sensitive type, and I can remember he didn't like any cruelty to animals. He became a vegan. Yeah, he was a vegan in the end, you know, and. It was like you couldn't get him to have a bacon sandwich or anything like that, like a normal Brummie, you know. And I think he's sensitive, you see. Geezer was sensitive. I mean, why they called him Geezer, I don't know, because he wasn't a geezer. I knew loads of blokes back then in Birmingham, and a lot of them were geezers, but not Geezer. So he was quite sensitive, and I think he had a nightmare. Yeah, he had a nightmare, and he came in. He said, I've had this bloody nightmare, and he woke up, and at the end of the bed was a great big black demon. Not black like, you know, the race black, but just he was like the colour black, you know, like a big black cape, you know. I mean, if it had been a black chap at your end of your bed, bloody back in them days, well, you would have wondered what it was, but you would have just thought they'd come in. You know, mainly there's a lot of black chaps down Handsworth, you see, you know. They used to smoke a lot of the old wacky backy, and they get lost. They wouldn't know where they're bloody going, come in the wrong bloody house, you know what I'm saying? But you never mind them. They were always, you know, nice to see you. What you doing? What you doing, Winston? They weren't bloody called Winston. I'm just making. I know I'm being a bit stereotypical, but they were a good bunch of lads. They were, that lot. Yeah, they were into like Steel Pulse, another bloody brilliant Birmingham band, which I'm championing here, even though it's not a heavy metal band, and they're bloody heavy reggae as well. They got the heavy reggae. You've got the bloody the noisy napalm deaths, and you've got your Black Sabbath. It's all there in Birmingham. I've said all this before a million times anyway. But my favourite bit in the track Black Sabbath, off the album Black Sabbath, is then when it suddenly goes all that bit is bloody brilliant. That's when they come into their own. It's there. It's not at the beginning. That's the bit where heavy metal's invented. Right then, when they did that bit there, that's where heavy metal was invented. Don't care what anyone bloody says. Right, shall we move on to their next album? You know, so they bring the first album out. It was quite successful. Critics didn't like it, but there was enough chaps in Birmingham to bloody buy. I bought about 7 copies of that. We all did. We all loved them. Cheering them on. Go on, Tony. Go on, OZZY. Go on, Bill. Go on, Geezer. We were all cheering them on. And the bloody mainstream press, they bloody bunch of snotty bastards, aren't they? We didn't like it, we don't like it, we don't. We like things like bloody Velvet Underground and people who've got bloody, you know, all moddy and cool. They like the bloody mods, don't they? If you're a mod, everyone loves you in this bloody country. If you're a rocker, they bloody hate you, don't they, in this country? Can't be a bloody rocker. They think we're all thick. They think that the bloody rockers are thick, and they're not. They're just salt of the earth. They're bloody best lots of people going. Bloody rockers. I loved it. You know that Thin Lizzy tune? He was from the Midlands, he was. He was from Smethwick, old Fieldy Nut. Yeah, he went to Ireland afterwards, but he was from Smethwick, yeah. I think it was Smethwick or West Brom or somewhere like that. And he did that tune, the rocker. I'm a rocker. Thin Lizzy was rubbish until he wrote that one. So as he wrote that one, he was in bloody business, wasn't he? That was the Birmingham in him coming out. Proper Brummie he was. I grab him for us. Right? I grab him for us. We could give somebody back to Ireland as a swap. I don't know. Somebody I don't like so much from Birmingham. But I can't think of anybody I don't like from Birmingham. Can you think of anybody from Birmingham that you don't like? If they're all bloody lovely chaps, there's nobody to give back, so I ain't going to play that game. Right, so yeah, what's my favourite tune on Paranoid, which was the second album, because I was taking a long time to get to that, because I had to rush it, you see. I remember bumped into Geezer, and he goes, how's it going? And he said, it's all right, we have to do the second album. And he said, what was it? A bit of a bloody rush. It was a bit of a bloody rush. He said, and we get to the end of it, we think, phew, we got that all done. And then they bloody go, we need another song for a single. There's not enough there. So we had to bloody copy Communication Breakdown, but it's done all right. So that one goes out. Really a throwaway track, really, wasn't it? Goes to bloody into the charts, I think number 4 in the UK charts. They went on top of the pops, Black Sabbath, on top of the pops. You should say Paranoid, but I think it's a bit rubbish. Paranoid does not represent the Sabbath, does it? Not really. They didn't do one before. They never did one since. I don't know about it. I think there's so many bloody brilliant tracks on that. Fairies Wear Boots, Iron Man. Right, there's Electric Funeral. I love that. I even love Rat Salad. You know, all the bands back then, they had to have a bloody drum solo track, didn't they? You know why? Because the rest of the band used to go off. They used to like to go off and have a bit of a puff, you know. Especially if they'd got like some of the blokes down from Handsworth, you know. They'd go off stage, they'd have a bit of a puff. Trouble with Black Sabbath, it turned from puffing to sniffing. That was when it all bloody went wrong. But they did to, you know, they needed, and so what they would do, all the bands did it. Cream did it. Deep Purple did it, Zeppelin did it. Instead of having this great big bloody long drum solo, God, they were boring. God, they were boring. Now, with Sabbath, I thought that Rat Salad was the best one. Now, if you look at the rock drum solo, you'll notice that Ginger had his Toad, Bonham had his Moby Dick, which is a whale. You got a toad, you've got a whale. Ian Pace, he had a mule, right? Bill, he had a rat salad, right? And you probably thought that they went, well, if we're going to come up with one, we're going to name us one after an animal of some sort, maybe an aquatic animal, you know, maybe something like, I don't know, it's like, like a duck. We call it the duck or something like that. And then Geezer, who was always good with words, he said, Ozzy, do you remember that time when we chicked you? And you said you wanted to lose a bit of weight because you'd put a bit on, remember? Because you were drinking a little bit too much. You had a little bit of a fat belly, so he dished that salad up for you. And we said it was ham. Remember, he said it was ham salad. It was actually rat salad. He ate the bloody lot, even when he found out. Even once he bloody found out it was a rat, he didn't care. He just woofed it down, old Ozzy did. God. He had the constitution of an ox. You know, Ox was the name they used to call the bloody bloke out of the Who, didn't they? The one that was in the Who. What was his name? Entwistle, the Ox. Yeah, they're like bloody animals in the early 70s, wasn't it? Yeah, a lot of animals. Rat Salad, I didn't like that one. But it has to be bloody War Pigs. The best one on Paranoid is War Pigs. Right, let's get on with it. What comes after that one? Masters of Reality, innit? This is the bit where they gave up doing good album covers, wasn't it? You know, and I don't know what bloody happened with Sabbath. First bloody album cover is bloody amazing. It's got that bench, you know, that bench is outside that bloody castle. Like, just looks like a bloody, it looks like a goth in the National Trust, you know, member of the National Trust, and it looks like she's gone, you know, to have a look around some bloody stately home at the bloody weekend and put the willies up everybody. But it's a bloody lovely cover, that Black Sabbath. It's bloody classic. And then with the second album, they had to bloody rush it, didn't they? Right, so they got my mate Keith in to do it. Yeah, Keith, bloody hell. He didn't know what he was going to do. And so Keith goes, what shall we do then? And they went, well, we're going to call it War Pigs. He said, all right then, I'll make myself look like a sort of futuristic knight. You know, like a future with it, like I'll have like a spear and maybe a shield and some bloody space age sort of knightish clothes, if you know. I don't mean knight as in the middle of the night. I mean knight with a knight, right? And he got his. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. My mate took the photograph. They just brought them bloody instant cameras out, you know, and he went out and went down the bloody Cannock Chase and jumped out from behind a bloody tree or something. They photographed him, and that looked bloody terrible. I thought, you can't have that. And then they ring up and said, oh, we've changed the name of it now, we're going to call it Paranoid. And Keith was like, oh bloody, you've done this War Pigs on a bloody War Pig. And I can remember bloody Tony Iommi's going, you don't look like a war pig, mate, you look like you're bloody paranoid in that outfit. We will have that one in it. Don't bloody matter. But it's a bloody awful cover, isn't it? And I don't think they lost their confidence, the old Sabbath did then, because the next one, Masters of Reality, it's got this, it's the one with this logo, but it's like bloody just purple and black. You know, that's no bloody good, is it? rubbish cover. Master of Reality. I thought it was. I don't know. It was bloody rubbish, that one. But a bloody good album. Every album at this point, they get heavier and heavier. There's some good tracks on there, and probably the heaviest one is the Chunky Children of the Grave. I love that. Oh, I love it. Although I might be getting confused with the middle bit of bloody Black Sabbath. Anyway, it's a bloody brilliant track. But my favourite one on that album has got to be... You know which one I mean? All right now. Won't you listen? I think he starts singing then, doesn't he, old Ozzy? But I like that bit in the beginning because he sort of says that. I mean, originally he said, "How am you?" They say, we can't have our Amia on there. How am you? Right, that's what he said. He had to redo it. Anyway, all right now. How I'm doing? He was going to be like that. And then he goes, when I first met you, I didn't realise how I'd forget you. Oh, you're surprised. You introduced me to my mind. I can't remember all of it, but anyway, he's bloody singing a love song, right, to a marijuana joint. When he says, I first met you, it's like, Ozzy's not going, I had a puff on a joint the other day, and it expanded my mind. He didn't say it like that, does he? What he's saying is, he's like a love song to the joint. He's going, when I first met you, I didn't realise you'd have all these, and have a big surprise, it's mad. It's mad, Ozzy is. He was, I tell you. Loved it. They all did, but then they start getting the bloody money, don't they? But that album, Masters of Reality, it's a right bloody, like, Stoner's album, isn't it? And that riff on Bloody Sweet Leaf, I love it. And the thing is, it's like, there used to be this bloke up in, where did he live there? I think he was up Newtown, right? Right, and we used to call him. His mom was quite posh. Called him Ralph, and we used to call him Ralph the Randy Romeo. Right, and he used to try and get the birds by pretending to be Italian. That's why we called him Romeo. And he would go around, right, and he'd go up underneath their bloody window, like bloody Romeo and Juliet. He starts singing like this, he'd be singing at the bird, and the birds would stick their head out, and he's going, oh, I love you, why don't you come out with me? He's doing all that bit, right, old Ralph the Randy Romeo would be, and we'd be laughing our head off, and Ozzy used to find it really bloody funny, and he used to, like, follow him around, and as soon as he was doing that like that, he would then join in, old Ozzy, and he used to go, your love for me just cannot be real. And then Randy Romeo, he'd be going, shut your face, Ozzy, get out of it, Slingy Rook, you're going to bloody mess up my chances here. And he'd be doing all that. Well, the thing is that in the bloody middle of Sweet Leaf, right, in a love song to a joint, he goes into the Randy Romeo bit, doesn't he? Your love for me, oh, cannot be real, cannot be real, cannot be real. Oh, bloody brilliant song. Sweet Leaf, I think it's underrated, that one is. Sounds bloody brilliant. What we got next then? Next album, of course, is when they discovered the old coke, didn't they? It all started going a bit awry. Because what happened with Sabbath at that point, see, if I remember right, originally they signed up with an old mate of mine, Jim Simpson. When they were called Bloody Earth, Jim Simpson was a bloke, and a bit later on, he had a magazine called Brummie, and he had this, I remember him quite well, I think Andy knew him in the old days, and I saw he was in the news because he's been having a wrangle with old Sharon, because I think he's got some early recordings, and they want to get it out or something like that. But then Jim, he passed it on to a whole bunch of bloody people. And I don't think it was Don Arden back then. But anyway, they were all over the bloody place with the management, they were. And the band didn't know what to bloody do with it. So they got in the right state, they did. So they just started snorking bloody coke, loads of it. Suitcases full of bloody coke. And they go in and they do Volume 4. I mean, they called it Volume 4. They couldn't even be arsed coming up with a bloody title for it. That's a funny album, that is. But it's one of my favourites, Volume 4. I think after that they change. But that run of 4 albums is bloody classic as far as I'm concerned. There's some incredible stuff on there. Of course, they had like about 2 weeks where Tony Iommi got stuck in a cocaine daze and he wouldn't shove. He went to plug his guitar in and it started making some clicks and he was like pushing the strings against the pickups. He got a delay on it and he was going, bloody hell, listen to that. He was there for about 2 days. They go, Tony, wake up. And he was there. They recorded it, called it Effects. But the best one on there is bloody Supernaut. I want to reach up and touch the sky. I want to I just don't want. I'm gonna. And he goes something about running away with the dish that ran away with the spoon. He's off his bloody head on that one, but it's amazing, isn't it? The heaviest tune I've ever heard in my bloody life. That one is. How can you get heavier than that? Bloody hell, it's heavy, isn't it? And it's like they get halfway there, and it's like the bit. I like when it goes, I love that. You get your hand, you go up and down like that. We used to bloody do it down the pub, we'd be head banging, and then we go, we do like that, like, you know, like you're bloody pumping up 2 bagpipes underneath each arm. Oh, it's bloody lovely. I used to love that tune. And then halfway through, what did they go into? Someone you wouldn't expect, a bloody calypso. And then on the follow-up album after that one, Sabotage, they then did the best one on Sabotage, of course, is Symptom of the Universe. Right, now up until then, as far as I'm concerned, Sabbath didn't put a foot bloody wrong. Right? But after that, they did put a few feet wrong. Now, they're bloody good albums, but they never got quite bloody like Black Sabbath. Now, I blame Tony, because Tony Iommi at that point, he got into Earth, Wind and Fire, and he wanted to go all disco. And he was going, come on, let's write some proper songs with some like nice disco and sing something about going and down dancing, you know. And the rest of the guys say, you ain't going to bloody do that. And, you know, OZZY was all over the place. But the next album was Technical Ecstasy. Now, I don't know. It's all right. I think the best one on that one, just to double check what my notes say, the next one on that one is You Won't Change Me. Now, I like that one because it's quite heavy and it's got a few changes in there. It had bloody top line Sabbath, and that's the best one on that album. It's a good album. It's not a bad album. It's really good, in fact. I mean, if I heard another band doing You Won't Change Me, I'd go, bloody hell, this is amazing. But for Black Sabbath, is it super? No. You Won't Change Me, though. I took that on as my motto, right? And nobody bloody has. I grew my hair long when I was 16 years old, and it's still bloody long now, and I ain't going to get it bloody cut. I haven't changed me look. Well, I have, because I got my Tony Curtis hat on now, because they said I look like bloody Zodiac Mind Warp. Bloody bastards, right. So, yeah, that's that one. We got a few albums to finish off now. Then they did Never Say Die. That was like the last OZZY album, was it? That one has got Junior Eyes. I like that one. I like Never Say Die a little bit more than Technical Ecstasy, to be honest. But, yeah, that's it now. Now, you might be saying, Dave, there's an extra track, an extra album, sorry, that you've forgotten about. What about the OZZY album, the one with OZZY on, called 13? Now, Andy mentioned this the other day on a video. He did something like the 10 most pointless albums in history. And he thought he was going to get on my nerves because at number 1, he put 13 by Black Sabbath, which I think is quite a good album, but he says it's not about it not being good, it's just pointless. And I know what he means. I didn't get upset, I didn't have a go at him at all, because normally when he does something I don't like, I go around his ass and give him a kick up the arse. Say, what you playing at, mate? You know. But I did it this time. I thought, Andy, I think you got a bloody point. So, they decide, after making a whole bunch of strange albums, they get, because the thing is that after Never Say Die, it slowly goes wrong. They get the little fella in, Ronnie James Dio. Now, I like those two albums. I really like, what was it? Heaven and Hell is as good. I mean, it's a return to form, really. It's bloody brilliant album. That's a proper Sabbath album. If OZZY had been on that, they'd been amazing. Then they do Mob Rules. That's a good album. Live Evil comes out. That's a good live album. But OZZY at this point, he's gone off, got old Randy Rhoads in, done the Blizzard of Oz, he'd done Bark at the Moon, and then he brought out this live album, Shout at the Devil, which was like him doing Black Sabbath tunes. And you know which one was the better one was? It's because OZZY, because he's singing them. Right, in the end, yeah, we want Tony, we want all the guys there, but in the end, if Ozzy's not singing, it ain't bloody Sabbath. So I moved over, I became an OZZY band then, right, and I was following OZZY through that. But then Dio goes, I don't know what Bill Ward does, he goes, did they got Vinny Appice in after old Heaven and Hell, didn't they? And then they get rid of him, and then they get bloody Ian Gillan in. What's going on? They get Bill Ward back and they do that funny bloody album with the bloody red baby on the front. Or as we say, Babby. We say Babby in Birmingham, the red babby, but I'm trying not to say stuff like that now because the Americans, I can't understand what I'm saying. Even at the best of times, I can't really understand what's going on this. If I talk too fast, they start going into proper booby. Anyway, that's not the bloody point, right? So, keep focused on it. So they get bloody Ian Gillan in. That don't work. He slings his hook, and then they get somebody else. But at one point, Ice-T appears. He's doing some rapping. It's bloody terrible. And I have to be honest, the good name of Black Sabbath had been completely besmirched. Led Zeppelin did it right. They packed it in, didn't go back. Deep Purple, they tried to get it all back together. And I think that's what Gillan did. He joins Black Sabbath, right? Black Sabbath with Ian Gillan, and he goes, oh, Deep Purple are back now. So he leaves to go back and do Perfect Stranger. It was all bloody rubbish. They should have never done it. Deep Purple are still going now. They don't know how many bloody albums they've done. So with Sabbath, there's this idea that they should all come back with OZZY. Now, I'd be behind it. But of course, they went and got Rick Rubin in, didn't they, to produce it? You know, that beardy, wise Burke that don't know anything about music and just sits there eating bloody pizza, being all mystical and hip-hoppy. You know that one? You know, what did he say to them? What was their advice? Sound like you used to. That was it. I could have bloody told them that, right? But after telling them that they should sound like they used to, what do they sound like, right? Andy was right. All that money, bloody Rick Rubin, to make them sound like Audio Slave. They even got that Brad Wilkin. You know, what's wrong with Bill Ward? They doubted Bill. I saw Billy was right upset. He said, what did you do it? I should have been doing it. I'm the drummer of Black Sabbath. And we said, you are, mate, you are. Well, they can get me in, you know, when I was drinking in the old days. But I'm sure I could bloody do it if they give us a chance. Why won't they just give me a chance? And we felt sorry for it, old Bill. You know, it was a sad thing. They got that Brad Wilkin. It's not, why they get bloody OZZY and not Bill? It's right. I didn't like it, so I've got to be honest. I approached that album with caution. Now, it's a good album. It's all right. Sounds like Black Sabbath. But what's the bloody problem with it? I'll tell you what the problem is with it. The problem, there's no bloody epics. Where's the War Pigs? Where's the Black Sabbath? Where's the tunes that go on? Where's the changes halfway through? Where's all the stuff that Sabbath does? Just sound like a bloody standard rock album. It sounded Sabbathy, but it was just short songs. Now, there's one song that got above 5 minutes. Can't remember. Was it called Age of Reason, was it? I'll just check on my notes. Yeah, Age of Reason. I went back and listened to it for this video. I listened to the whole album, and I thought the best one is Age of Reason. It's a decent song. It's actually really good. It probably beats the two that are on Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die. So I've got to the end of the video. Now, it has to be said that OZZY, being the good chap he was, knew it wasn't right. And he vowed, he says, we've got to get back. We've got to get back together. Sabbath has to get back together, if only for one more performance. It has to be a live performance. It has to start in Birmingham, and it has to end in Birmingham. And so they did it. They were a very proud moment for me when they got last year when they got back together. I mean, wasn't it? Did you think? I mean, I'm getting emotional. I didn't want to think of it, like, because at the time I wasn't that bothered really. But the thing is that then a couple of weeks later, it's like bloody OZZY died, and that was it. But it was touching for me because they're just a bunch of local lads from Birmingham, just local lads, you know, talented musically talented with a vision, but of Birmingham vision, a vision of blackness, of industrial metal grinding against metal, of demons, of hell on earth and trying to escape it, the want for salvation in a world which is harsh and industrial. And they channeled that into the music, and they launched 1 million bands. Right, just these four lads from Birmingham. They didn't know what they were bloody doing. They went through it, but what they did was what was in their hearts. They did what was in their hearts, didn't they? OZZY, Bill, Geezer and Tony. Right, and they turned the world on its ears. But it started in Birmingham and it finished in Birmingham. And I felt proud. I felt proud to be a Brummie. I felt proud to be a rock fan. I felt proud to be a fan of Black Sabbath. And when OZZY was sat on that throne, I thought, that's our real king. Not bloody Charlie. King OZZY. When our queen died, they should have made OZZY the bloody king. You know? Although I wouldn't want any of the offspring to then carry on the lineage, you know. Oh, who would have been heir to the throne? Would have been the daughter, wouldn't it? You know, that one that was all fat and now she's gone thin. You know. No, I wouldn't want her on a queen. No, we wouldn't have her. Now, maybe it's a bad idea to make OZZY king. Maybe they should have made him like the mayor of Birmingham. I don't know, but anyway, it was sad. He was on his throne there, and he was trying so hard, wasn't he? And now he's gone. We're coming up to a year now since then. This summer it'll be a year. He gets forgotten, but I won't forget him. I won't forget Black Sabbath. I know here I am in my 70s now, holding the torch, flying the flag. But I will always honour them. I will always respect what they did. For us Brummies, they made us proud. OZZY, if you're looking down now, you made us proud. And I salute you, Sir OZZY, Lord of Birmingham, Prince of Darkness. Thanks for watching the end of the video.